AWS infrastructure. Okay, we're going to talk about region and availability zone. So region is a concept in AWS that you can think of as a group of uh, resources in a geographic area. Within a geographic area, so AWS group all the resources into a region concept. Okay, so we have a different regions in different continent or countries, and different regions usually they don't talk directly to each other. Okay, so but in order to maintain the data and the service availability and the durability, so AWS divide the region into different availability zones. Okay, so each availability zone will also gonna have a multiple data centers. This here we don't have a data center concept, but you can think of it as just like a building has a lot of servers, hardwares, network, air conditioners, everything is there. So together they're gonna have a availability zone, and multiple availability zones will be in the same region. Okay, so like just if I create multiple servers in one region, let's say Northern Virginia, to serve the customer in US, and I want my server to be always available, up and running. I want my data always be there. Okay, considering a disaster, like let's see if there's a power outage, there's a flood, so one building or one data center maybe goes down, or maybe there's availability zone totally out of power or electricity. The other availability zones, other servers can still be up and running. Okay, so that's the consideration of using multiple availability zones within a region. Okay, so that's the whole purpose. You can think of like between availability zones, we can still share the resources in AWS, but between regions we cannot because they are bigger concept, and you can think of they are just like hardware level isolated, uh, and location level, right? Geographic location level, they're also isolated. Uh, AWS provides a lot of service with the cross region services, just like we can copy data or it can automatically back up data from one region to another region without like minimum latencies, but that will cost more money, and probably sometimes it will have longer, like better, not better, but worse performance, right? Um, so that's the basic idea of the AWS global infrastructure region and availability zone concept. Okay, so if we go to the console, okay, we go to EC2, and there's a compute EC2. Okay, click on it, and we're gonna land on this EC2 page. Um, so here we can create our servers. Okay, but firstly you will see we're gonna have our region. Okay, declares. You can see here we have our Northern Virginia region, and we have 6 availability zones. If we want to change availability, change the region, we can just go here and then select. Let's see, I want to go to US West. Okay, click on that, and then now you can see my region changed to US West, and availability zone only has 2. All right, so if I want to create a server in the California region, okay, and if we scroll down here, and there's a network configuration. All right, yeah, so let's just click on network edit, and then we'll have a subnet. Okay, so here is where we can change our availability zone. So we can either let the AWS automatically assign an availability zone when we create a server, or we can just specify which availability zone we want this server to be created in. Okay, so there's the different ways. Usually we just consider the regions, okay, of our resources, because the resource could be shared between availability zones. Like from one zone you can see another zone's uh, resources, but from one region you cannot see other regions resources. Okay, most of the services is like this, but some of the service, let's see, we have a AWS S3 service. Okay, so this service is a global. Okay, you can see there's a node where you can change the region. So even though when we create a bucket, you still need to select a region, but when you land in this service will list all the buckets from all the regions. Okay, so there's like you can do some like centralized manipulation of the service, so regardless the region. But when you upload the file or the data, then you still need to choose which region you want to upload your file into, because we'll create a bucket. There's it. Okay, so because all the infrastructures, they are still in one region and in some of the availability zones, right? So that's the concept behind the scene. All right, so that's it for the region and availability zone. Just keep in mind, just stick, especially when you just started, stick with one region, okay? Just don't keep changing the regions, otherwise you're gonna get lost, like where is my server created yesterday, okay? Just choose the one that close by and just stick with it. All right, thanks.